Bada boom, bada bang, bada bop. We are back today with another video. We're not talking about shoes today. We are talking about training. I'm gonna go through the 5 best marathon training workouts, give some good insights on how you could apply these to your training, where you should start, how I have personally used them in my training, and just shoot the stuff on the marathon in general. So before we get into it, this video is brought to you by the Supwell app. It's my app. It's the best buy, sell, and trade marketplace for hobby joggers. I'm usually out here with the pair of shoes. Well, not here. I'm usually at home with the pair of shoes talking about you should buy this on the Supwell app if you're looking for it, because you can get a great deal. The other thing with the Supwell app, it's not just the best place for deals, it's the best community if you're looking for some insights to take your training to the next level. We have people all across the spectrum of hobby jogger nation, right? People running sub 4 marathons, people trying to run their first marathon, people running hour-long 5Ks, 50-minute 5Ks, trying to take their fitness to a better place. So if you're looking for a group of people to keep you accountable, help you stay motivated, get after it, then get in on the Supwell app. We will also be launching Supwell training soon. So you'll be able to have programming, to buy programming and have in your calendar for a race, and you'll be able to track everything on the app coming soon. But for now, best buy, sell, and trade marketplace and best group of hobby joggers getting active. So get in with us and enjoy today's video.
All right, guys. Hey, the corral is from the start line to the jorts. It's on the Three, two, one.
What's up? We're in the middle of the woods. I'm literally in the middle of the woods. And this is the thing about the Carolinas where I live. You have the coast, beautiful, just thousands of miles of beach and shoreline. You have the mountains, also beautiful. Blue Ridge Mountains, Appalachian Mountains, nice mountain views. You have the Smoky Mountains, gorgeous vistas. And then you have the Piedmont. And in the Piedmont, that's in the center of the state. It's not the coast, it's not the mountains. There's trees, there's mosquitoes, and there's humidity. So that's where I am today in the forest in the Piedmont, helping my good friend Jim with his ultra. So it's a backyard ultra. They're doing laps here. It's about a 4.17 mile loop, or exactly a 4.17 mile loop. You got to get one in per hour, and he's doing them in 55 minutes. So he just did his 3rd loop, and I'm here crewing him. So I'm refilling his ice, refilling his fuel, his bottles. It's fun. I'm not racing. I just came out here to support him and be his crew guy. So my initial plan for today was to pre-record a video, which I did last night, but it's been so hot in the Piedmont that in the middle of that video, I actually did a 40-minute training talk. In the middle of that video, my camera got smoked out by the sun. And I didn't realize this till the end of the video. It was so bright, I couldn't see the monitor screen. And it was just frozen at 17 minutes of the video. And it was overheated. And it deleted the entire footage. And also, our AC is out right now. It's just one of those weeks. So I'm coming to you from the middle of the Piedmont, the middle of the woods. And we're going to go through the 5 best marathon training workouts. I really want to start bringing back more training insights onto the channel. It's something I've been talking about a lot recently. It's important to me that this channel is not just about the stack and the PIBA and the shenanigans and the jokes. Yes, those are all important, but also the mileage and the part of training that is about how to get better and using, this camera's sliding. I also just have this balanced on the hood of his truck here, his F-150. But yeah, the parts of training that are not just about the shoes, right? So that's what we're gonna go through today. We put up this post on Instagram last night, 5 best marathon training workouts. We already got a request to do a half marathon training workouts one, so I will certainly do that. Now, there's no replacement for having a fully structured plan, which we have coming. We will have Supwell running plans very soon. Stay tuned. I'm waiting for the launch of the custom app, which is also coming soon. I just need to hold the camera if it keeps sliding. But yeah, the custom app is coming soon. You'll be able to connect your Garmin or your Coros or your Apple Watch to the app. It will send in all of your info. We've been testing it. Dude, it's so cool. I'm so excited for you guys to see it. So that's coming. You'll be able to purchase training plans directly on there. You'll also likely be able to input your own stuff. So if you want to journal out, if you like doing what I do, which is being your own coach, you can upload your own workouts into the app. It's going to be sweet. So training, that's the next frontier for us. We got the shoes on lock. We got to take it to the next level. I'm committing myself to it. I'm saying it out loud because it's so easy to just keep doing the same thing, right? Inertia is such a powerful force. The hardest part of running a marathon is just beating the gosh dang system into yourself, right? The consistency of getting out there a few times a week. And it's the same thing with anything new, right? We want to get into more training. Okay, we got to make training videos. We got to talk about it. So let us dive in. The 5 best marathon training workouts. Make sure you're subscribed to or following the Instagram if you're not, because these are going to be the workouts we put up there. I'll give more context here. But the first workout, 20-mile long run. Man, what could be better? That is a bread and butter. I have run a 20-mile long run every weekend for the past year and a half. The only weekends where I have not run a 20-mile long run, maybe even longer, it might be 2 years at this point, but the only weekends where I have not run a 20-mile long run are before and after my road marathons. And I've done 2 road marathons in the past year and a half. So the 20-mile long run is the staple, is the bread and butter of the road marathon training system. Now, you can't just say, okay, I want to run a marathon. I've done a few 5Ks. I'm running 3 or 4 times a week and immediately just start running 20-mile long runs. That is the recipe for success. And make sure to watch my video on how to increase mileage safely if you have not done that. But what you can do is gradually build up. So you can gradually build up that long run and also work up to a target of 2 hours. You want to get up to 2 hours with the time on feet. That's the tipping point where those aerobic gains start being made. So if you're currently doing 6-mile long runs, 7-mile long runs, maybe you're doing half marathon training, you've done an 8 and 10-mile long runs, maybe they take you 90 minutes. What you want to bump up for the marathon is consistently 2-hour long runs, at least almost every single weekend, and it will scale, right? If you're doing your first marathon, you want to just minimum work up to 2-hour long runs, get in as many of those as you can. 5 to 8 of them is great, and then at least 1 20-miler, but ideally 2 or 3. If you're trying to marathon PR, you should really be consistently getting up to 18-mile long runs, getting those 20-mile long runs in, hopefully 3 to 5 times. And if you're trying to go sub 3, man, you got to be hitting those 20-mile long runs frequently, basically every other weekend, and we're starting to work in marathon race pace. But the 20-mile long run, that is the bread and butter. The entire goal of the marathon, coming into it from shorter distances or from not being in optimal fitness, or I don't even want to say like that. Maybe you're doing high rocks or CrossFit or golf or basketball or some other thing that is not running specific. The entire goal of the marathon is not to get faster. Your marathon pace isn't going to be faster than a pace you could run for 1 mile right now off the couch if your marathon is within a reasonable time distance, right? If your marathon is in 4 months, you could run your goal marathon pace for a mile or 2. But it's about extending that. So the long run is building raw endurance. It extends your marathon pace. You're not going to get faster from the long run, but it will extend the paces that you can run. So say your mile time right now is a 5:55. If you start doing those 20-mile long runs consistently, you'll now be able to run that 5:55 for 2 miles or 3 miles, right? It's going to take some time to build up to it, but that's what the long run does. It builds the raw endurance. It's also the best time to practice marathon fueling. So I'm out here today, I'm talking about this ultra, right? Jim has done 3 loops. That's an hour each loop or 55 minutes each loop. He's done 3 gosh dang hours of running already today. And each time he's going out with them, he's bringing those bottles that are filled up with the fuel. And this isn't the first time he's done that. He's practiced that in the training. And the same thing, that's the same thing I do every weekend, right? I have my Camelback water. Now the Camelback, the new one, the insulated one, with the gels in there. So it's another skill of the marathon to be able to fuel. I'm still gonna pass for the cars. You can't see it behind me. It's another skill for the marathon to be able to master the fueling, know what sorts of gels work for you, know which ones don't, know how much you can take in. Now, you don't need to be taking in gels every 15 minutes, but if you can work up to taking a gel every 30 minutes, you'll be in a really good spot. I know some people also like the fluids. That's what Jim is doing today. He's doing the fluid mix. I personally prefer the gels. It's just cleaner. With the fluids, I feel like it's just another thing to think about. Am I getting in the right amount of liquid carb? With the gel, it's just I rip it open and I know exactly every time how much I'm getting. There's pros and cons of each. Not going to go fully deep in it, but if you want a recommendation, I would suggest the Morton. So that's the 20-mile long run. Number 2, let me fire this up. We got to check the IG. make sure I do these in order. The pain pyramid. So the 20-mile long run is really the bread and butter. This pain pyramid now is all the way on the other end of the spectrum. So what the pain pyramid is 4, 3, 2, 1 miles at threshold pace. You could also scale this down. So this is a workout designed by Jack Daniels, and a lot of his program is really designed for elite runners. So people running 2:15 marathon times and faster. And at those paces, threshold pace is very close or identical to half marathon pace. For some elites, threshold pace is slower than half marathon pace, which is just crazy. So doing 10 miles of volume at threshold pace, if you're running a sub 220, sub 215, is less time, not less mileage, it's the same mileage, but less time on feet as someone who's running a 330 or 345 or even a 230. So scale up or down. But I personally have done this workout multiple times. No, it's not easy. It's not fun. That's why it's called the pain pyramid. But you could scale it down to doing 4 kilometers instead of 4 miles. You could also scale it down pace-wise to doing your half marathon pace instead of your threshold pace. But regardless, what this workout will do when executed appropriately, so 4 miles at that faster pace, let's call it 15 seconds per mile faster than marathon pace. So you do 4 miles at that, 2-minute jog, 3 miles at that, 2-minute jog, 2 miles at that, 2-minute jog, and 1 mile at that, and then you're done. Just like that, and then you're done. It's easy. But what that will do, it will make marathon pace feel smoother. So you get 2 main benefits here. One is the aerobic benefit. You're gonna get the boost. Your heart rate will be up high. You'll be running hard during this workout. And the second is going 15 seconds per mile faster and getting all that volume. It will make marathon pace feel, I don't want to say easy, but smooth. If you run a lot of threshold workouts and then you start going back to marathon workouts, it's weird. You feel like you have to slow yourself down to hit marathon pace. So I've actually been in a block over the past few weeks where I'm just focusing on marathon pace. And now at the end of this block, yeah, I know how that pace feels, but I was noticing it just, my legs feel like they're not popping off the ground as quick because I haven't been doing threshold pace or interval pace. So what this workout will do is when you're deep in marathon training, 6 to 8 weeks out, and you've already been grinding marathon pace, you've done shorter threshold workouts, your fitness is in a good place, this workout will ensure that you have another gear. Because in the race, maybe you're going uphill, maybe you're going to make up time. If you had to stop to use the bathroom, hopefully you don't have to stop to use the bathroom. But there were times during the Chicago Marathon where I was actually picking up the pace because I started off slower. When I ran that 239 in Chicago, my first 5K was something like a 6:20 pace. And to run 239, I knew I had to run 6:05 pace. So I was running some threshold miles in there. And because I'd done that pain pyramid, I knew I could run 2 miles of threshold, not back to back, but or even 800 meters of threshold and have the fitness to recover. So it's a fitness booster, it's a confidence booster, and it's a mechanical booster. It will really make you feel a lot more confident and smooth at that marathon pace. All right, and again, before we move on to the next one, this is one that should only be attempted if you are an experienced runner. All right, number 3, this is another good aerobic workout, the 90-minute, what we're calling recovery run, or 90 minutes relaxed, 90 minutes aerobic. Now, throughout the course of your week, you'll have 6-mile runs, 8-mile runs, 4-mile runs. Those are going to make up the bulk of your training. Whether you're doing sub 4 or a first-time marathon, you'll see so many of these runs on your calendar that just say 4 miles relaxed, 4 miles aerobic. However, you're not going to frequently see in the middle of the week, especially when you're just starting out, you're not going to often see these longer midweek runs programmed. Now, the Fitzinger system starts to program these, and for the faster Fitzinger times, at the faster Fitzinger levels, I had to take a beat because people are talking. At the faster Fitzinger levels, they do have those longer midweek workouts, not even workouts, just runs programmed in. So what I would do, and what I did do when I was earlier on in my marathon journey, trying to break sub 3 for the first time, add a very relaxed midweek run, 10 miles or 12 miles, that gets you up to 90 minutes. So this is pure aerobic. This is, again, raw endurance. Do not worry about the pace at all. That's why we call it the quote-unquote recovery run. You're not really going to be recovering. You're still depleting your glycogen storage. You're still putting stress on your body. Running is always running. It's not as easy as a walk. But if you get closer to a walking pace, or at least 2 to 3 minutes off of your marathon pace or 2 minutes off your marathon pace, just very light. You don't have to have the heart rate be jacked up. It will help build that raw endurance. You'll get a lot of those physiological adaptations, strengthening the mitochondria, also strengthening the muscles, because a lot of the marathon is the pounding on the body. So you keep the stress on the body low, get a nice pair of max cushion shoes, or even go on a soft surface. If you have soft surface to trail on or to train on, not to trail on, that's a Freudian slip there, but if you have a soft surface to train on, that's even better than the max cushion shoes, or just as good. And a lot of the old school coaches, the Lydiards of the world, the Cerrutis of the world, the Daniels of the world, they advocate, hey, do all your higher mileage training, your aerobic runs on softer surface. Well, guess what? We don't all have access to a softer surface. That's what makes the more cushioned shoes so good. So this is about strengthening the body with some very light running, building that raw endurance. This will extend the time. Say you're a few months out from your marathon, right? Say you're 12 weeks out from your marathon and you can run marathon pace for 18 miles right now, consistently doing these long runs and these midweek long runs. They'll extend it to 20, 21 miles and eventually 26 miles. The other sneaky benefit of these is you will start to see the more mileage you do, the more volume you do that is highly relaxed, whether it's a recovery run or a very light double in the afternoon, 30 minutes of jogging, that's not gonna have you going into the tank. And I did a double yesterday, and let me tell you, doing a double in 98 degrees, that is no joke. I was feeling it for the rest of the day, even though I was at an 8:30 pace, even though my heart rate said it was a 135 BPM. It doesn't matter. Sometimes if you're coming out here just getting slaughtered by the heat, it's gonna be hard. But the sneaky benefit of the additional volume, the doubles, the 90-minute recovery run, your interval times and the recovery between them. So we're going to talk about this next workout in a second, but this camera's jumping out on me. Your recovery between intervals will get so much quicker. You will notice your heart rate start to plummet after a workout. So for this next workout, you're running these kilometer repeats. You'll notice, man, if it used to take you the full 2 minutes to recover between these kilometers, even if you're running them at the same pace as before you started marathon training, your heart rate is going to go back down so much quicker. You'll feel so much more recovered and ready to attack the next rep. Same thing, right? As you get deeper into this workout, let's just talk about the next one. 6 by 1 kilometer, 4 by 400. As you get deeper into a workout like that, you'll notice, man, I used to feel like this on the third rep. I used to feel absolutely blasted on the third rep. Now, I don't feel as blasted until the 5th rep. So you're not necessarily going to be getting that much faster during marathon training, but you will extend the time where you can run that pace and the number of reps you can do. So that's what it's all about. All right, number 4, 6 kilos and 4 quarters. This is probably my favorite interval style training workout. I don't love doing a lot of intervals. I don't love doing the shorter stuff, but this one is so good because it's faster than threshold. So you do this at your interval pace or your 5K pace for the first section. 6 kilometer repeats at 5K pace with 2 minutes of jogging in between. And then you end with 400 meters at a 1 mile race pace. So at the kilometers, or for those kilometers, you'll be having your legs popping off the ground. It is much faster than marathon pace. It feels fast. Your heart rate gets up. But the benefit of it is it's a nice switch up from the long grinder marathon pace tempos. And I'm starting to get up to 9 mile tempo, 7 mile tempo at marathon pace. Meanwhile, a kilometer repeat, that takes about 3 minutes. So it's a nice change of pace. And then getting that faster turnover in, it feels moderately terrible, and the heart rate also gets jacked up and the breathing rate gets jacked up. But then again, once you go back to threshold pace, once you go back to marathon pace, it feels so much smoother. So that's the benefit of this workout. It's also a huge aerobic booster because you're getting down to your fastest aerobic paces here. 5K pace is really the fastest pace most marathoners need to run, especially if you're in your first marathon or early on in the journey. Just the benefits of running faster than 5K pace frequently with much volume just are not anywhere near the risk. So doing a lot of mile repeat stuff, or mile race pace stuff, doing a lot of faster than 5K race pace stuff, that just poses more of an injury risk to the body. It also is more taxing on the system. Those types of workouts take more time to recover from, ironically, because it's lower volume, but the faster you go, the more recovery you need. And so it's a delicate balance. With this workout, you're going to need 3-4 days of recovery before you're back on the train. But once you're adapted to the threshold pace, the marathon pace, also once you're comfortable frequently running mile race pace and 5K race pace, maybe you've worked up by doing strides. So strides are 6 by 20 seconds of faster running. this is a really great workout. You'll get that big aerobic boost because it's the fastest that you will be running in this entire block, and it's some of your fastest aerobic paces. So you're stressing the same physiological systems. You're stretching them and stressing them to their maximum amount, the same systems that you'll be using during the marathon. The 6x1 kilometers, that's really for the aerobic benefit. And then once you end with the 4x400, so the 4 quarters, that's all the physical benefit, the mechanical benefit. Your legs are going to be snapping off the ground quickly. And it's also this mental thing. Man, you're going to be wiped out after those 6 kilometers, but you got to go back into the tank. You got to lock in. You got to up the cadence. You got to dig deep and pull something out. The nice thing about these kilometers or the 400s, they're only going to be, for most people, 90 seconds or less for a 400 meters. So it's just about a minute and a half of faster running 4 times at the end of this workout. Really good mental test. Can you lock in? It's nothing like marathon pace. It's much faster, but a very similar exercise. Can I hit this pace? You are physically capable of hitting this pace. It's only 400 meters, but you really have to focus and dig deep. So it's another good mental prep. Same thing with the pain pyramid. Any of these longer, more taxing sessions that are going to grind you down and test your mind, they're so good at building not just the physical endurance, but the mental endurance. All right, last workout, number 5. Let's throw it up. Have I been throwing up the cards? I don't know. Let's throw up this card right here. The 5th workout is the race pace tempo. So this is another workout that should only be attempted by people who are, as it's programmed here, by people who are experienced. But the 16-mile race pace tempo, might be my favorite to do. I did this before Chicago, and I actually averaged faster than marathon pace. I wouldn't advise that, but I averaged a 5:57 or something for 16 miles. So this is a really killer workout. This is the best possible race simulator. It's also the longest you should go. Doing anything more than 16 miles or roughly 60% of your finishing time. For example, if your goal finishing time is 3 hours, sub 3, you don't want to be out there doing a tempo for much longer than an hour and a half. And this also is a workout that's going to take some recovery, and you have to know how you respond to things like this. They're marathoners, professional elite marathoners who won't do 16-mile tempos, who won't do these longer race pace workouts. So it's going to depend. This is one that personally, for me, with what I know about my body, I am comfortable doing. I'm comfortable pushing it up to 16 miles. Some people are comfortable going up to 18 miles. I prefer, though, and I'm all about the excess and the extreme and pushing it most of the time, but for me, 16 feels appropriate. I would prefer to just not put the extra stress on the body, to keep the mileage at a moderately high level throughout the block. So that's my other philosophy. I didn't really talk about my general philosophy in this video, but keeping the mileage consistent across an entire block. I don't advocate for most people running their highest mileage ever within a marathon training block. That's actually what I think the off season is for, right? Getting that mileage up, pushing it aerobically, running a lot of low and slow miles. When you're in marathon training, getting the most out of those workouts, getting the most out of the quality miles as you can, and filling in the rest with more relaxed running. But anyway, 16-mile tempo at race pace. This is self-explanatory, baby. You just got to get out there and go. You got to find that tempo, lock into it. It's the best possible workout for a race simulator because you are just running race pace, right? And part of the skill of the marathon, yes, there's the fueling. Yes, there's the fitness. You have to run the threshold to get your lactate. You have to do to get your running economy. But part of it is just finding race pace and feeling comfortable there and knowing what it feels like to run that pace. So if you're going sub 3, 6:52 should feel like nothing, man. You should be able to run 6:52 without looking at your watch. I found I'm getting closer to that with this sub 2:30 pace. I felt like I was actually at it the other day. I looked down at my wrist and I was off by a few seconds, but I'm starting to build that. 2-3 weeks ago, I couldn't find 5:40 pace, which is sub 2:30 pace, without looking at the watch. So it takes some time, it takes some practice. This is one where you're going to want to have started off with midweek tempos earlier in the cycle, 7-mile tempo, 8-mile tempo, like I'm doing now. You're going to also want to start having longer chunks of marathon pace. The way I would think about it is if you have 3 phases of marathon training, first phase, you might not be running all that much marathon pace, but you're running a lot of threshold pace, maybe throw in some shorter repeats at marathon pace, 3x2 miles, 2x3 miles, maybe work up to 6-mile tempos. Second phase of marathon training, you start getting moderately long tempos during the week, 7 miles, 8 miles, 9 miles, working up to 10 to 12-mile tempos. Then third phase of marathon training, you're grinding out long, steady sections of marathon pace within those 20-mile long runs. That should be the goal. That's the ultimate goal. Run as much marathon pace as possible within those long runs while recovering and still working on those other fitness factors. Boom. That's it. That's the key to marathon. I was going to say the secret. It's not a secret. That's the key to marathon success. So once you get to phase 3, you'll be comfortable running 12 miles at marathon pace, 14 miles at marathon pace within a long run. The biggest marathon pace chunk I did before Chicago was 14 miles at marathon pace. And actually 2 of those miles, something like mile 7 and mile 14, are at threshold pace. So 10 to 15 seconds faster than marathon pace. That's a demonic workout. It's a killer. But if you can do that within a 20-mile long run, you can run a 16-mile tempo unbroken during the week. And if you can do that within a moderately high mileage week, you can run 26.2 on race day. So that's a fun one. 16-mile tempo. Take some fueling out there. Find that pace. Lock in. And just don't give up. And the thing is, it's not going to feel easy. I think there's this fallacy that, marathon pace, it should feel smooth, it should feel comfortable, it should feel natural. Yes, but it's also really hard. It's hard to run marathon pace, especially the faster you get, the harder marathon pace feels. It's ironic, but if you're running 3:15 now and you used to be running 3:45, the 3:15 is a lot faster, and it should feel a lot faster. Your heart rate is going to be higher now at those marathon paces because you're running for a shorter distance of time. You're able to sustain a higher fraction of your maximal speed. So it's not going to feel easy. And just remember that you're going to be at mile 5 saying to yourself, how can I do this for 26.2 miles? That's the devil talking to you. Don't listen to that devil. Just focus on the mile you're in and getting to the end of that tempo, because you don't need to run 26.2 miles for that tempo. You need to run 16. That's the thing to keep in mind. And I always forget this. I was reminded of it this week when I had a 7-mile tempo, because I did 9 miles at race pace on the treadmill. On Wednesday, I came back to Mint Hill because I was traveling, and I did 7 miles on the road. And during that workout, I was saying, man, it's hot. I'm only at a 5:48 right now. I was clipping off 5:48, 5 seconds per mile. How the heck am I going to do this for 26.2 miles? But then I was remembering, man, this is training. And these 7 miles I'm doing now, these are not the first 7 miles of the marathon. These are the last 7 miles of the marathon. That's the mindset you need to be in. Those 16 miles you're doing, that 16-mile tempo, that's not the first 16. That's the last 16. That's the Hansen system bread and butter right there. The cumulative fatigue in the tempos, that's all you need. So personal favorite for me, you just got to keep the confidence high, lock in, just fight to clip them off as long as possible. And personally for me, marathon pace always feels terrible at the beginning of a tempo. Just mechanically, it's not an easy pace for me to run personally, and it takes some time to find it. So that's the other thing, man. I could be 20, 25 minutes in and I still don't feel completely comfortable. It could take 30, 35, 45 minutes in to find it. So those are the 5 workouts. Let me know what other training topics you want to see. Of course, it's great. It's better to have a full plan, to buy the full plan if you're just starting from zero. But I thought this was a fun idea, video idea, just to highlight some sessions you could mix in. Also the general principles, right? Getting that mileage, the long run up to 20 should be the target for most people as you're trying to PR. Getting a midweek long run in at 90 minutes, mixing in some faster sessions, something like the paint or the kilos and quarters. You only need to do that once every 4 to 6 weeks. You don't need to be doing that every week. And then that race pace tempo, that's just the cherry on top of a lot of good work. So there you go. I didn't plug the Supwell app today, or maybe I did. I guess I'll have to I have to shoot the intro after this. But I appreciate you. Make sure to sign up for the Supwell app and stay tuned for the new Supwell app coming. We're going to have training. You're going to be able to track your runs, and we're also going to have the best gosh dang community out there. No promises on the launch date, but soon. 2025. I was going to say for sure, but that's the goal. If we could get it fall, that would be even better. So I appreciate you. I'm out here trapping in the woods, bro. This is the thing. You got to get it in. I had to bring the camera to the Ultra because my video got deleted. So let's make sure this video doesn't get deleted, huh? All right, I'll be back tomorrow with another video. Posted in the woods with the Ultra runners. No shoes today. Still doing numbers. In Carolina, this is a cruel summer. I'm an OG, not a newcomer. Boys better watch out. Supwell training, about to take over the game.